Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson, and you're watching my walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D Master Quest for Nintendo 3DS. I realize that's like a little bit redundant, calling it, declaring the console when 3D is in the title as well. But anyway, you can play this for the 3DS version, which the world is flipped. Otherwise, you can play it in the original GameCube, which will have it flipped the other way around instead. So I realize it's a little bit confusing, but you can totally use this walkthrough for the GameCube version as well. It might be a little bit confusing because of the flipped world, but everything's fine. So, in the last video, we completed Dodongo's Cavern, and now we're heading towards the top of Death Mountain and then working our way towards Jabu-Jabu's belly. Now, once you get to these boulders, by the way, I know this can be kind of tricky, but a little tip for you, by the way, just so you know, two things to note about it. You can hold it for the correct amount of time, ideally, but otherwise, too, if you throw the bomb a little bit early, you can just throw it over the boulder and blow it up as well. The reason this works is because there is, like, this square right here, which is where the boulder is sitting, but if you look here on the opposite side, there is this, like, triangle here. So if you aim towards this side, as opposed to towards this side, it'll just fall off. But then the bomb it'll hit the top of the boulder and then just land right here. So the trick is to kind of stand, like, right here. Not totally close to the edge, but just, like, a little bit back. But otherwise, too, another thing you can do, it's kind of tricky to pull this off, but you aim so where it lands right here, like, super close to the edge, and the explosion radius will blow it up. If it's a little bit further away like this, then it won't work. But anyways, those are two tips for you. So if you aim, like, kind of aim in between the wall and the boulder, and that would be my tip for either way. If it lands on top, but it's super right next to the edge, it'll blow it up. If it goes past it and it lands in the triangle, you win anyways. Still wait for the timing on the bomb if you can, and then all three of those methods will work. Either waiting for the bomb to blow up in midair, or if it goes too far to either side, it's fine, it doesn't matter. So those boulders aren't too bad. You should be able to get through that without wasting too many bombs. Once you get to the end, try and line yourself up, and then use Z targeting to go walk backwards and back walk through this whole area. You don't actually need a shield through here, because you can just run through here instead. I'm just being lazy. I don't want to equip my shield. I'm stubborn. It burned, and I'm not going to equip it again. Now you can sneak past these Skullshalas, but they're kind of a pain in the 3DS version. They changed them so they move significantly faster, or their reaction time after they see you is way faster, and they charge towards you faster. So they're it used to be like you could just kind of ignore them and just crawl past them in general. But now you can't really get away with that so easily. So yeah, if you're playing the GameCube version, you can sneak past them. You don't have to kill all of them if you don't want to. And the 3DS version, I don't think it's worth it. You should totally kill them all because it's a huge waste of time. They'll just end up seeing you, they'll knock you down, you waste time climbing back up. It's not worth it. One of the things that's kind of weird about making YouTube videos, and walkthroughs specifically, is like the things that I expect people to need help with versus what they actually end up needing help with don't always match up. I feel like I do a pretty good job of anticipating people's needs. But also, the jokes that I make in my videos, because I have a lot of humor, you know, I'm all like, I make a joke and I'm all planning ahead for it, and then I'm all like giddy, like looking forward to all the comments that people are going to leave regarding the joke that I made that I'm all proud of. And then nobody comments at all. And then meanwhile, they comment on something else, which is totally not what I expected at all. And so, like, it always makes me feel a little bit bummed, or like, how did I not realize this was not going to be a thing? But anyway, so expectations versus reality don't always match up. So in Death Mountain Crater, make sure you crawl off the side of the wall, you can get the piece of heart and just hop in the lava, you'll appear back at the entrance. One thing I think is kind of funny is that the timer at the bottom of the screen is still counting down. It didn't reset when we reappeared at the entrance, which is kind of funny. The reason I think it's silly is because, like, the timer's like, oh no, it's so hot in here, we're gonna burn to death, and then meanwhile, you jump in the lava, and it doesn't, like, peak the timer or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, jumping in lava is fine, but, like, standing in hot air, like, this sauna is just too much for me. It doesn't really matter that we got hurt, though, because we can enter this great fairy fountain next door. But yeah, so the jokes that people end up getting all excited for are not the ones that I would expect. So I made a joke when I did the original Ocarina of Time walkthrough when I got to that part. I think it's actually when I came back with Sheik, actually. Although I need to sleep for this. So for the original Ocarina of Time walkthrough, I made a joke when I got there. I think it was actually when Sheik is there, because they have the cinematic of, like, the camera going over the lava all slow. And I made this joke where I was silent for the cinematic, and then when it finally regained control of our hero, I said, "Welcome to hell," all deep into the microphone. It just as like a passing joke. I think it's just because it was so abrupt and it was all peaceful and cinematic at first, then I just abruptly say that and people didn't expect it, or I don't know. I think that's the reason why it really stuck in people's minds, but that's the joke that people remember. I still, to this day, I have people commenting on that video, but also, like, they'll find me when I'm streaming and they'll be in chat and be like, "Oh man, I love your commentary, it's so funny, like that one time that you said welcome to hell," and I'm like, really? That was not the joke that I was proud of, or, you know what I mean? Like, that was not my peak humor as far as I'm concerned, but okay, whatever. Apparently it made a big impression on people. So expectations versus reality not always matching up. Like me doing spin attacks right here. Quick spins, so you can perform a regular spin attack by holding the B button. Otherwise, you can also rotate the analog stick and press the B button. Really quickly tap it to perform a quick spin. And I cannot do it to save my life in combat situations. I don't know why. It's so weird to me, because Majora's Mask is the same game engine, and I can pull it off consistently in that, and then Ocarina of Time, I feel like I'm just going to get myself killed. Like, seriously, what is this? I am pulling it off, but like... And I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing I always do, and it doesn't work. Did they change it, or is it supposed to be the same? Because it always frustrated me that I could never, like, pull it off consistently in Ocarina of Time. Those Great Fairies, by the way, I was all excited the first time I saw them because they were the same color palette and stuff that they were in the original Legend of Zelda, and I was like, oh, this is what they look like in 3D. Like, that's cool. But then their laugh just, like, weirded me out, because, like, I don't know, in anime and stuff, the Japanese girls that are like, they're always the evil ones, and then here's the Great Fairy doing that. Let me help you. Like, oh. Okay, so remember that because everything's flipped, it's going to be on the other side instead. So hop down here, and go inside this hole in the wall to get to this cow with the ginormous nose ring and a piece of heart. Now that I'm older, I kind of realize that the reason for this hole is actually just for ventilation, because cow farts are real, man. And they have so much methane that that candle up on the table would probably blow up this entire house if they did not have adequate ventilation. Now, at this point, you can optionally go back to Hyrule Castle and get Din's Fire, which I would highly recommend you do before we get to the future. I'm going to do it when I come back from after Jabu-Jabu's Belly. I don't think we need it for anything in there. I don't think it helps for anything, so it doesn't really matter. And I have my notes, so I will remember to do it. But yeah, if you think you're the type who's going to forget, like I forget if I don't have notes. So I just hate like being in the future a couple dungeons in and then being like, oh, I need Din's Fire, and then or start doing a dungeon, then realize I'm in a dungeon that requires Din's Fire, and I was just too lazy to go to Hyrule Castle earlier, and so I messed it up. By the way, does this tree require it to be night? I think it does. We can fix that if that's the case. Nope. Never mind. Was I mistaken earlier? I said there was a tree in the last or the video before that, but I was saying there was a tree that required it to be night. Was I mistaken about that? Oh yeah, by the way, I made a mistake in my commentary about the adult wallet. I wanted it from the magic beans, not for the... I just wanted to get as many magic beans as possible in the past so that I could just quickly plant a whole bunch of them and not have to be like collecting it later. Or like, yeah, I wanted to get the benefit early on. And also, just because, like, we're gathering rupees just in passing anyway, so if we're steadily accumulating them and putting them towards something. Two more. Now, roosters are the only ones with the red tuft thing, right? So these are all male birds, right? I always thought this part was ridiculous. Well, I mean, maybe it's just the fact that you can do this, but if this is the intended solution to this puzzle, or as far as what the developers are actually expecting you to do, it's so weird. Like, jump at a ledge, drop a chicken, get back up, pick it back up again. Like, what the heck? That's crazy. I mean, I realize gamers figured it out, but like this part makes a little bit more sense. When it is not night, you can hop down here and make it night real quick, so that we can get this gold Skulltula. As long as we're in the area. I'm just getting convenient gold Skulltulas. I don't really plan to go back and get any other prizes. If I do end up getting to 30, then I'll go ahead and get it. But in particular, I'm going to get the gold Skulltulas that are in the dungeons. I want to show where all those are, because that's a Master Quest exclusive thing. Actually, that's like Marimbra, right? I was thinking harp in my head. I guess it's electric guitar and acoustic guitar and harp, or marimba. Saying the wrong thing again. Hi, I'm a foreigner. Let me play your game. You know what occurs to me? This is actually like a pretty good like tourist trap for the Zoras, right? Like encouraging people to come to Zora's domain. Come play our rupee diving game. Like, do the Zoras play this game too? By the way, when you're doing these things, try to dive towards one of the rupees and then angle yourself so that you can pick up another one at the same dive, ideally if they're close. Regardless, like, make your way towards a different rupee every time that you go down. Again, smash the jar here in passing. Oh, except... Actually, wait, can I go in and out? Can I just get this, like, repeatedly, real quick? Yeah, so if you wanted to fill up, you could. I want to be like you. And learn to be silver scaled like you. No! I didn't mean to do that. Look how much harder this one is. So many rupees. It's kind of dumb. I didn't mean to do that, but what I was trying to do is I was trying to like stop talking to him and then do this. Run. Okay. Oh no, no, one of them went out. Oh, whatever. We're diving. We're diving. We're doing the thing. It always just sounded scary to me, like getting sucked through a little whirlpool, whatever, into a lake, like millions of miles away. Or like just being underwater for that long, you know? Anyways, go ahead and grab the bottle, and as long as we're here, we can go ahead and get the Scarecrow song, as well as plant a magic bean over here on the building. So at this point, there's also a piece of heart we can grab real quick. It's not technically in the lake, but it's really close, and I don't really feel like riding around here later. I'm just going to be warping here all the time, so I don't think I'm going to be traveling through here any other time in the future. In the future. So if you climb up the ladder and then hop down here, right in the middle of all these fences, there you can use a bomb, and there is a hidden hole that will appear. Inside there is a business scrub that will sell you a piece of heart, and this guy won't... No. Okay, I was confused for a moment and thought he was going to take me somewhere. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't mess it up. Oh no. Oh, well, actually, I can do this. Okay, sweet. I don't have to use my shield. That's the meme. No shields. 10 rupees? Mm-hmm. Oh, now I get a cinematic. So next we want to grab the Scarecrow song. In order to do this, you just need to use the ocarina near the lower of the two Scarecrows. So stand next to this guy, use the ocarina, and then it needs to be a melody that is 8 notes long, and it needs to be distinct. Like, you can't just have it be one note. Ta-da! There you go. That's all we had to do. So now we're going back to Zora's domain. Get this jar as long as we're passing through, right? Hey, buddy, I got something for you. I can't go any further. Alright, so at this point, stick, run! Go, quick. Oh, it's over here. Okay, don't roll here to put out the torch. Does it put out the torch when you're in water? I'll test it after this. Quick, fast. Oh, barely in time. So if I roll in the water, does it put it out? Does not. Okay, great. Well, you can save a little bit of time by rolling through there. Fishy. And off we go. So yeah, apparently when you're running down this, you can roll through that if you want to. Don't mind me, senor, just sneaking past. At this point, we can go ahead and get Farore's Wind as long as we're in the area. I actually, like, always neglect to use it, but I'm going to try and make myself use it in this walkthrough. Alright, so head over to the back corner and then use a bomb against this wall. Or wait, this wall. Behind the silver boulder. Give me your magic power. So now that we've acquired... we can continue. Would that be a funny thing, just have weird nicknames for all the items? Oh, fishy. I got a little something for you that really appeals to you. Cannibalism! Ah yes, the tuna level. So as soon as you enter, the first thing I'd recommend you do is use a bomb on the boulder. This will blow it up so we can access the switch and also kill the Octrock at the same time. You might as well. It's super easy. Now, you don't have to get this particular chest. It just contains the dungeon map, I think. So it's not really super important, but you might as well. It's easy. It's right there. Another thing that would be very helpful for this dungeon, and both iterations of Ocarina of Time, is to use Deku Nuts. You can use them to kill the Shabombs, the bubbles, which is pretty nice. There's also a jar nearby that has Deku Nuts, and the other one has bombs, I believe, which is a nice thing to have. So you can kill the Shabombs if you want to. You don't have to, though. It doesn't really matter. They're just there to be annoying, and you can swerve around them really easily. Now, you can tell that Jabu-Jabu's not feeling well because he has mad cow disease, right? Now, these function like switches, so you just shoot them anytime you see them in dungeons. You can also stand right underneath them and play, as long as Navi's close enough like this, then you can play Epona Song? I was trying to say Lon Lon Song, but you can play Epona Song to make them give you milk. Anyway, the one on the left gives you a chest that has Deku Nuts, I believe. There's lots of chests that have Deku Nuts in this dungeon. And then the one on the right will open the door straight ahead. These bushes, by the way, will regrow, so if you want to get some, like seeds especially, and bombs, you can get them here. So don't worry about it. Like, yeah, you can spam bombs, is I guess part of, in particular, what I want to point out. Now in this area, we can't deal with the tofu yet, so just hop down to the bottom. Now there is a stinger, I think is what they're called, in here, so you can kill it if you want to. It doesn't matter too much. Honestly, these guys, they attack in bursts. They are pretty annoying, but they'll come after you, and you can ignore them for the most part, though. Like, they'll hit you every once in a while, but oh well. We get hearts occasionally. Shoot the cow that's in the bottom. This will make a chest appear. This is optional. You don't have to do this, but we do need to hop in the water and go swim down here. Because right next to that chest that just appeared, there is a switch that opens the door up above, I believe, to the north. So I'll show that here in just a minute. So go ahead and smack the jars as well. I think one of them has bombs, the other one has Deku Nuts. Again, there's lots of Deku Nuts. You can just use them like crazy here. To kill the Shabombs, to kill the Stingers, kill the Zalfos, there's all kinds of things you can use it on. Compass, yay! So Deku Nuts, woo, which I'm already full on. Something else you can do that's kind of funny is you can use Deku Nuts like on that stinger that's in the water. There's no particular reason to do that. It'll like make it go down to the bottom of the ground. So if you don't want to like sit there waiting to shoot it, you can also just use a Deku Nut to stun it on the floor temporarily. This won't kill it, but it will just neutralize it for a bit. There's also a chest right here. This one also contains Deku Nuts. Again, there's just Deku Nuts everywhere in this dungeon, so feel free to use them quite liberally and just use them everywhere. Alright, so hop on the elevator once it finally gets here, and you can tell we need to go north, so you can look at your compass in the bottom of the corner and see that we're pointing north now. So this will lead us in the correct direction. Now, if this Buri or whatever, Buri. If it gets in the way, you can turn around and use. Actually, you can see it right over there. If that one comes after you, turn around and then use a Deku Nut on the platform that you're currently standing. It is a little bit weird. You need the Deku Nut to actually either hit the enemy or hit the ground. Maybe it has to hit the ground. I don't know. There's not really too much else you could do against that guy. I don't think you can use Deku Sticks either. Anyways, go through the door to the north. And again, this was unlocked by stepping on the switch that was underneath that little waterway. Blah, blah, blah. Sundar Princess. Go ahead and hop in just like usual. Here we have Rudo, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you talk to her multiple times. Now at this point, what we need to do is step on this floor switch, and then take this waterfall, whatever. Yeah. Oh, right, because she fell on it. That's funny. Anyways, step on the switch. Now, this is a temporary switch. You can also tell, by the way, in case you didn't know this, the yellow ones are more permanent, and they do something. Meanwhile, the blue ones are always ones that will only stay active when something's sitting on them, just so you know. So in this case, what we want to do is leave Rudo there because we don't care about her, just like regular Ocarina of Time. And then we can use that to open up this door straight ahead. We need to step on the switch to make the water geyser rise up again. That's the word I was looking for. Geyser. I said waterfall earlier. So anyways, with leaving her on that switch, you can step on this to get back on this platform, go through this door over to the west. Again, we have so many of these things, just use them. It's fine. Like, you'll replenish them just like playing the game here, so it's whatever. Fun fact here, by the way, I don't know if a lot of people know this, you can do this. You can... Oh, come on. You make these guys come out of the water like this by getting over them, and then when you use a Deku Nut on them, they go to the ground, so you can easily use a jump attack on them. This is making me nervous. what? There we go. Actually, I don't actually use slingshot on these guys. I always use my sword, but I guess that's actually pretty effective. Anyways, I was using bombs to do extra damage to it, but also to... you know, something that's sad is I wish that, just like with Dodongos, I wish that you could use bombs to kill the like. Like, it would feel so right. Like, they suck up stuff and everything, but it doesn't work that way. You're actually better off, like, putting the bomb, like, to either side of them or something. But it's just kind of sad. I wish that it worked. But yeah, after you killed all the enemies, go ahead and step on the floor switch to raise the water level so you can get up here and get the boomerang. We already have it, which is awesome. Go ahead and smack these real quick to get things. In particular, bombs is what I'm interested in. Now, there is a time block here. Now, that contains, underneath it, there is a gold sculpture, which we can't grab right now, but you can use it to get back on this platform. You can either land on top of it or grab the edge like that to get back here easily. Now, rather than, unlike regular Ocarina of Time where we go south, instead we want to go back north, back to the Ruta room, which is a little bit weird. I can't remember, I think you can go through the south door, it just takes you to the elevator. I think you can do it. There's a waterfall thing in the way, or geyser, bleh, geyser, keep saying the wrong word. But it doesn't matter too much. Now, in this room, the other thing that we need to know is that there are some cows. You shoot the left one, this makes a chest appear that contains Deku Nuts, again. And the one on the right makes a chest appear that contains Bomb Chews, which is what we need. You can ignore Ruta for now, we can't do anything with her. Head over this way. Kill this guy if you want to. So you can kill them. Well, actually, I guess I technically... Whatever. Okay. I have this. So go ahead and use the chest to get bomb shoes, climb back up to the top. No, I don't care about Ruta. We're going up here now. Okay, let's see here. Bomb shoes... Boom. Okay, you can actually target this thing, and I think it just blows up as soon as it comes in contact with it, so you don't have to do any funky timing or anything. And you can actually Z-target this cow as well. Or L-target. I always say Z-target because I always think of... I always started with original Ocarina of Time, you know? That's my go-to phrase. And we're playing Ocarina of Time, so I'm like, yeah, it's Z-targeting. I'm like, wait. Alright, so in this area what we want to do is head over to the far left, and if you have Din's Fire, you can burn this cobweb. I did not get Din's Fire at Hyrule Castle because I was like, I'll just get it later when I'm doing all the Hyrule Castle stuff before we move forward in time, but whatever. So if you did grab it, you can go ahead and use it here. If you didn't, you're going to have to enter this room right here. So in this room we have two cows on the walls. Now I think what's going on is there's like a metal cage in the ceiling right here, and it has the bottom has like a grate that slides. Kind of like they have a lot of those metal grates in the Shadow Temple and the Spirit Temple. But anyways, I think that's what's happening. You just can't see it because it's behind this fleshy expanse. Which this is actually. Oh, actually, this did act like a wall. I think in regular Ocarina of Time you could shoot through this because it's like diagonal or whatever. It's a fake wall. This whole room is actually square or whatever, or hexagon. Anyway, whatever. So you shoot the cow. What it does is it removes the grate, which makes the like fall down. So scary. You can either just keep shooting them with a whole bunch of slingshot things. Otherwise, you can stun them and do like this. The problem is if you're too close, then it hits the top of their head like that. There is a sweet spot, which I'll show real quick, where you can, or it's like right about there. You just want just the tip of your sword to hit the edge of them. So you can do that. It's really annoying, though, to get the positioning just right. I've had a lot of practice, so I make that look easy. But a way you can make that easier for yourself is if you do... Wait for this one to fall. I don't want to grab that. Oops, I messed that up. I'll show the... Okay, back up. So watch this. Let him attack on purpose. Hit him from the side with a boomerang, and now, strafe around, heads off to one side so you don't accidentally bonk it from the top. See? So by letting them attack on purpose and then strafing around while using the boomerang, you can guarantee you can get a nice fleshy chunk that you can smack with your sword. But yeah, two jump attacks will kill those guys really fast. Now, once it's defeated, I actually wasn't paying attention to the cinematic. Sometimes the cinematic shows the door, and sometimes it shows the torch and puts emphasis on it. The torch is what we care about, so if your cinematic looks at the door, you might be like, at this point, so why did I come in here? Like, oh goody, I got a chest, but rather than a small key, it had a Deku Stick. Like, what was the point of that? It's because we need it, in case you didn't have a Deku Stick, we can use it to burn the cobwebs nearby. Again, I think it's very strange that this game... Can I... Actually, wait. I panicked. I was going to try and jump backflip over to try and get those C's, just to see if I could. I wasn't sure if it worked that way. I'm assuming so. Okay. Deku Stick. light a stick, go through the door with it lit. Which again is a weird mechanic. Like in regular Ocarina of Time, you like never have to. I think there's like one, or you do that once during. You never have to go through doors, but you can use it to make bomb flowers fall down. But it's like really obscure. It's only for like extra goodies. It's not for anything required, like main storyline. And you can go the whole game and get everything, 100% the game, and you never have to know you need to do that. But in Master Quest, it's a required mechanic that is never explained. Those are the kinds of things in games that I find frustrating. Is when there's a mechanic that you have to know, but they never tell you it, and it's so obscure. Like, why would you think to do that? I guess go through a door with a stick. Like normally. I don't know. There's two kinds of doors in the 64 games. There's some that just open like without you having to touch them, and there's other ones where you actually grab the handle. You more so see that in the future, where those doors you have to actually do something with. Anyway, kill the parasitic tentacle, continue on the opposite side, and there's another one, I think immediately. My tip for this, by the way, I did talk about this in my original Ocarina of Time walkthrough, but just get really close. They're right in the middle, but otherwise, as long as you keep strafing around, you're not quite in the middle, but just really close to it, just making like a donut shape, spinning around, whatever. You can just strafe in here forever. I'm just holding top left on the analog stick, and then it's impossible for you to get hit. But that's also close enough that it causes it to keep trying to swipe you, so that you can just keep using the boomerang on cooldown. So kill the second parasitic tentacle, head out, and now we're going to... You can go north if you want to, for an optional room that has a gold Skulltula. This one, technically, I think they're wanting you to use the Song of Time. It's total... You can get it totally fine without the Song of Time, so not a big deal. Let's kill the Shabums. Shabums, because they're annoying. Shabum, I think the word Shabum means soap? Sapo. Wait, Sapo is soap. In Japanese. Maybe I'm not sure what Shabum means. Maybe it means bubble. I don't know. Whatever. They're called Shabums, bubbles, whatever. It's my first time getting a magic jar, apparently. Now, this boulder contains just a Skulltula, which doesn't matter. We don't care. But the one on the opposite side, which is up high, contains a gold Skulltula. Now, you can see that Navi's up here flying green. The reason for that is because you can stand on this platform, or whatever, and the geyser rises up. And then if you stand up here, you play the Song of Time, it'll make a time block up here where you can throw a bomb on top of it while it's sitting there, then it will blow up the boulder. Now, other two ways you can do that is you can stand really close to the wall. No, I wouldn't do it all the way, but stand pretty close to the wall, make sure you're facing it pretty square on, and then aim up at it with the slingshot to make sure you're lined up well, and you can use a bomb shoe and wait for about 7 or 8 blinks in the 3DS version. I'm not sure if the blinks are the exact same animation for the 64 version, so it might be a different number, or GameCube, excuse me. But it's really hard. It's super hard. You'll probably waste all your bomb shoes. I don't think it's worth it at all. So you can try that, but I don't think it's worth your time. Huge waste. Instead, you can just use regular bombs and just use good timing. So you don't have to have the Song of Time for this. You can totally just do it legit with regular bombs. I think the timing on it's actually pretty easy. Wait for just like a little bit after it starts blinking fast, and then throw, and you're fine. Yeah. See, I messed up that first one, but whatever. It's okay. By the way, a little tip for this: when you're using the boomerang. Like, when you're doing this animation, it's really hard to, like, see exactly where you're going to... Because it's right behind Link's head is where it actually ends up shooting. And the camera angle makes it a little bit weird after it shoots, too, because then you're like, well, is it... And, like, I think sometimes when you use the boomerang, it moves you over a little bit. You can also... I think I'll just de-target it. Nah. Anyways, what you can do is... you can just switch from using the slingshot. And where you're going to actually aim is, like, that little leather thing. So, like, notice this. This is perfectly centered on that. So now I use the boomerang, and I'm going to grab it. So, doing manually aiming like this is awful for this. It's so confusing looking. But if you just use the slingshot first, and then just aim right in the middle of the leather thing, that's where your targeting reticule is. It's way easier, and then just tap the other button. You're good to go. So that's how you can get that gold Skulltula early, if you want to. Excuse me. Totally optional. Head back outside. Go over to the middle, and we want to bring one of these boxes with us. There is a... Lizalfos? Dinoful. Lizalfos. Kill him real quick. Okay. Let's see. Go ahead and blow these up. By the way, these, travelators, whatever, like how it just moves you around with you're just sliding on these things. Enemies aren't affected by it, the boxes aren't affected by it, and bombs are not affected by it. So if you were thinking you could throw the bomb down and it would like glide into these boulders and blow them up, that's not the case. Remember that all these blue switches like this will, they only stay activated when something's staying on them, so as soon as you get off them, they reactivate, or they pop back up. So bring one of these boxes over, set it on here. If you manage to destroy both the boxes, just leave the room and come back, and they will reappear, as well as the Lizalfos, which is annoying. Again, make sure you just circle around pretty close to the center, just keep button mashing the boomerang, and you'll just kill this guy very easily. That is the last parasitic tentacle. Hooray! Okay, then head all the way back to the start. Now, at this point, one of the things to know is that the boss... you can just ignore this guy. The boss is... It's very handy to have Deku nuts for it. So... Or wait. Wrong part of the dungeon. Oh yeah, by the way, so this is something that's kind of cool I discovered recently. So I think the reason that it does this is that it's similar to like when you're Z-targeting, or L-targeting. When you're L-targeting and you're moving around like this, then you'll just shoot the boomerang out directly. So I think that's the reason that it works this way. But if you are jumping off a platform and you tap the boomerang button, then you can shoot it immediately. Sometimes it's kind of funny, like you can, I think you can Z-target in midair even, but you can attack like Lizalfos and stuff before they ever reach you, which is kind of fun. So I just think that's interesting. Okay, so here we are with Rudo. You know what? For this mini-boss, it could be handy to have Deku Nuts, so let's hop down here and grab this. Just to show. Now, the biggest thing that I think makes this mini-boss super easy is just to be suicidal, and just take damage on purpose. So I'll show you what I mean by that. It makes it way faster and easier. Go ahead and talk with Rudo. She's like, how could you leave me repeatedly? That's because we don't care about you. Okay, so wait for this geyser to stop. Because there's a geyser here, you don't have to go back around. Rudo doesn't ever actually appear back up top, and we can't go through the far side because there's a water geyser blocking our path, so we can't take her through there. I mean, that's the deal. Yeah, far south, you can't go through there because of the water geyser. So this water geyser, however, rises you up high enough you can get on this platform to go attack the mini-boss. So, now next thing we can do, too, is you can optionally make some milk by playing Epona Song. So you can do, if you're hurt right now, go ahead and do that. I don't want to do that because I want to put a fairy in instead. There's some jars up ahead where we can get fairies. So, I'm going to take Rudo into the room for the mini-boss. Yeah. Throw her up there. Can't button mash fast enough. Blah, blah, blah. Move forward to activate it. Oh yeah, I think her voice line isn't actually Kia, but that's what it says in text. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, now this big guy, Big Octo, a couple things you can do with it. You can use the slingshot, close range, like this. When you do that, it often spins around and it starts coming towards you anyways. However, if you let it hit you on purpose, then it'll immediately turn around. So, use the boomerang. So we take a heart of damage, which is double in Master Quest, especially if you've got some extra hearts with me, by getting pieces of heart. It's totally fine. I messed that up that first one. I was supposed to use jump attack, and I used a regular attack. But anyway. By the way, I think you can tell which direction the boss is going to go based on the spinny of the center thing. The spinny of the center thing. Nice and advanced English there. Close the distance. You know, I don't care. This is taking too long. There, he's this way. Anyways, yeah. So you can tell because of the direction it's spinning. Or yeah, maybe another comment about that. Oh my goodness, come on. If the here, hit me. If it changes direction to the spinning, that means the boss is changing direction. So you don't actually need it. Oh my goodness, come on. This is like awful. But usually you can kill this boss in like a couple seconds. Really? Is this really happening right now? Oh my goodness, am I gonna die from this? By the way, I think sometimes he spins around the opposite direction. So, yeah, he does. You can just keep getting ready to boomerang him. Yeah, like that. There you go. Anyway, you can do it. There's just some RNG to it, but honestly, if you keep using it like right as the time when it's going to wear off, then it's fine. Here I was like, you don't need the cows. Like, no, I might need it after all. No, okay, this is fine. I'll survive. That was way messier than I anticipated it being. Let's see. In regular Ocarina of Time, there's a fairy over here. Yeah, apparently not, but there is a cow. Okay, shoot the cow. I think it makes a chest appear. No, it opens the door. Okay. Get that. You see them slick strats there? I just like used to jump it, or yeah, backflip. Kill the Metroid. Here we got some angry tofu. Sneak past them real quick. I like to kill the Zombos. You don't have to, but I like to just get out of the way first. Okay, so now this part's kind of weird. So what happens is you shoot this cow, and what it does is it makes another cow appear. This cow does nothing. I don't really know why they did that. It's a distraction, but what actually happens is it makes the cow appear, and then it also makes these boxes appear. We want the boxes. So, come down here. Make sure you put the box down behind you. I think you can break it with the boomerang, so that's why you want to place it behind you. But just tap the button. So just face towards these guys, tap it. Boom. Stun the next one, jump over. Take the box with you, set it on top of the switch, because this is a teal one, so that means it's going to pop back up. And into this room. And all we need to do here is go stand on the platform. I don't think there's anything else right here. There is a cow down below, so if you want to fill up on milk, you totally can, because now we're super close to it. So you can just stand here and play Epona song to get milk. Now at this point, I think in this next room that actually Deku Nuts are one of the most helpful things you can possibly have. So if you are missing Deku Nuts, if you haven't opened the chest yet, there's this one right back at the beginning, right here. I'll just show it. So right there, off to the right, there's a chest right there that has Deku Nuts, has 5, I think. And then there's also one down at the bottom of the elevator, right here. So if you take the center elevator, go down to the platform, you can see... Well, actually, I guess you can't quite see on my map. Oops. Go down a floor, and then there's a chest down there as well. Straight at the bottom of the elevator, and so you could use that as well. Anyway, head into the next doorway. Here in this room. And there is some cows, as well as these guys. We can kill these first. Nice. Get all the rupees, because they always drop tons. The more advanced way. Again, if you're doing the right distance, it's something like this. Or not. Attack on purpose. Attack on purpose. Boom. So if you don't want to waste seeds, that's why you can do that. Okay, now in this room, I think it's this one even gives you a fairy. It makes a chest appear. Or no, this one gives you seeds. Okay, right. I don't remember what's in this chest, but otherwise this is a fairy. I'm pretty sure. So if you haven't filled up one of your bottles, make sure you're ready for that so you don't accidentally heal yourself instead. The chest contains something unimportant, I think. Oh, it's probably a shield, which I still haven't equipped, by the way. Shields are for noobs. Okay, so then what we need to do in this room is you need to shoot this cow, and it makes stuff appear, but you shoot the cow repeatedly. Don't ask me why, it makes no sense. One of those times that it raises up is it will make a fairy appear, so you can swing over here and make sure you grab this before you continue onwards. I'm already full health, so I don't care. Is there anything on those vines on this side? Nope. Okay, I think it's just regular Ocarina of Time. I always get them confused, you know? The dungeons look the same. Okay, once again, as I was saying, you can aim off to one side, and then you can use the boomerang after that if you want. Okay, it wasn't quite far enough over to the left. I might need to scoot closer too. It seems like it's okay. This is for an optional gold sculpture. You don't have to do this, of course, but it's free. For this final part, you can actually scooch closer and you can Z-target that token and get it. Alright, and boss time. So yeah, if you need more... So you should be able to get 2 fairies here. Otherwise, you can also get milk. Again, the boss does a lot of damage, but I guess milk technically would be more efficient, especially since we don't have that many hearts right now. So it'll fill up our heart completely. So it is super worthwhile. And there's literally a cow, like, right outside that door. So if you swing out there, you play opponent song a couple times, fill up your bottles, head back this way, you're good to go. This boss is super easy. Again, I think the most helpful thing for this boss, though, is Deku Nuts. Not entirely sure why they made them all the tentacles at the top different colors. I guess it's just to bring attention to it. There's no, like, importance to the fact that they're different colors. It's just that you need to break them all. Okay. There we go. Just trying to be able to keep moving. Okay, now at this point, stun them, and then Deku Nuts. Everywhere. Everywhere Deku Nuts. Keep using the Boomerang. Hopefully, eventually we'll get through. The boss does change the rotation of the Biri? Biri, I think it's the little one. The little ones are Biri, the bigger ones are Bari. Anyways, changes the rotation. So that makes it super easy to get through with the Boomerang. No! Oh, come on. Actually, can I just use the... Wait, can I use Deku Nuts right at the start? No. That's fine. Anyway, yeah, so I used 10 Deku Nuts for all that. I mean, you don't necessarily need a bunch, but I'm just bad. And of course, the jars on the side, I believe they still have hearts even in Master Mode, so you can totally do that too if you start really having a hard time. Always try to use jump attacks on bosses if you can, because you do double damage. There's like this invulnerability period for bosses anyways, so like if you're going to use regular attacks, you're better off spacing it out, like you're like whack, whack, whack. Don't just button mash it, because you actually will do less damage. I believe. Haven't like thoroughly tested that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Anyways, the nice thing about jump attacks is that it's almost like a little bit too long, but the distance is a kind of a nice sweet spot where you're doing constant damage as opposed to some of your strikes not doing anything. Alright, so that's how you kill Barinade. It's super easy. Go ahead and grab the heart container. You can break the jars if you want to. No real reason to do that, except if you really want that sweet, sweet green rupee, we can do that. And that's all we had to do. So there is some gold sculptures in particular on the... This floor, there's a couple rooms. Anyway, there's a couple rooms like this one. I'll show how to get them later. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, go ahead and speak with Rudo. Blech. Just a little lonely. Not really. Oh, okay. It was great for so long, I thought maybe my game was dying. I think I vaguely remember that scene taking a while in the old version as well. But, yeah. Here we go, seductive swimming. Oh, she just kind of floats over. In the old one, she, like, does this, as she's got, like, the power stance, the head turned down, like, hey. Like, oh no, what have I done? But anyway, guess they changed that in this one, but I always thought that animation always made me laugh. Just like, hey baby. She's all like, I'd get eaten by a fish with you anytime. I really like the way they made the spiritual stones look in the 3DS remake. Like, this one's just so much smoother. I don't know if it's just... I can't tell if it actually has more polygons, unless it actually is smoother, or just like the way the textures are applied to that surface looks a little better. It's totally different textures than it was before. So this one looks like water. But anyway, I just think this one looks all smooth now. It's like, ooh. It's always a bad sign when the girls say, don't tell my father. Like, oh no. But anyway, As always, huge thanks goes to all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make this possible. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, be sure to throw a like on it, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content just like this. Remember to stay awesome. You guys have an amazing day. Also, and by the way, happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. I just got done here. All my family's finally flying home. I can finally start focusing on YouTube again. But yeah, good days to all of you. May you all have an incredible evening, and I'll see you next time.